Hey, it's Debbie with DoItLikeDebbie.com, a lifestyle blog on saving you money and helping you to live a full life. Today we're talking about marriages in LA County. I just got married in LA, and it does vary from county to county as far as rules and regulations, but the overarching application process and whatnot is all the same and pretty streamlined within California. Then there's other things like fees and timelines, like whether you need to apply for a marriage certificate or if you get that back automatically. That will vary from state to state, but generally this information can apply to you no matter where you're getting married. And excuse this excessive winter coat, but it is very cold here in Southern California. It's really snowing in places like the Antelope Valley, and people don't know that, but it does snow pretty heavily here in SoCal. So first of all, congratulations, you are engaged, and now it's time to start planning the logistics of your wedding. So to start things off, let's do fast stats on pricing. It is in California, or at least in LA County, $91 for a public marriage license and $85 for a private. Most people just elect to do the public marriage license, which means it is on public record. One thing that I'll be kind of highlighting throughout this whole video is that you must file and get married within the county that you applied for, and then return the marriage license so that it can be recorded within the county that you applied for. Marriage certificate copies are $15 each. In California, or at least in LA, you don't automatically get your marriage certificate back after you send off the license that's signed once you're married. You have to request for it, so it is $15 a piece. If you just elect to do a civil ceremony, it is $35, and you can do it at one of the LA courthouses. There's ones throughout the city, even as far away as Van Nuys. So that's always your option. And a witness is a cost that you definitely could cut. I mean, you just have to plan to bring a friend. It's $20 to pay for a witness, and it's more actually meaningful to have your friend there to attend and just be able to serve as a witness to the date of signing for your marriage license, which then you'll return and get your marriage certificate back. For things like an elopement or a civil ceremony at the courthouse, you can do this program in Southern California called Deputy for a Day, where you pay $75 to have a friend essentially be the deputy, your minister, your officiant for the day, and marry the both of you. Or you can go online like we did and visit the AMM.org and have your friend that you trust get ordained that way. The AMM.org is one of many online ministry sites, non-denominational, that you can go on and have your friend get ordained online. It is free, but they could pay to get like a packet and a certificate just in case you ever got audited, that they do have this reputable certificate. They just go through the guidelines and handbook just to make sure that they're officiating properly, but Southern California does recognize these kinds of programs, and they do stand as legitimate officiants the day of your wedding. There are two ways to obtain a marriage license in Southern California. One is to file online ahead of time. So you file online within 15 days, the both of you as the couple must be in person to pick it up together. Or the second part is you can do a walk-in together. So as long as you visit one of the courthouses in LA before 3 p.m. And I do recommend going in the morning, just because as you go on throughout the day, I think the line does stack up. And when my husband and I went to go pick up our marriage license, it was very early in the morning when the courthouse first opened, and already the line was out the door. I'm just documenting. But either way, just make sure that both of you are in attendance for picking up the license. It can't just be one of you. And you can pay for the marriage license and then copies of the marriage certificate. When you go to pick it up, you can prepay for it, and you can pay via cash, check, credit card, or money order. So once you've picked up your marriage license, you have 90 days to hold your ceremony, have the officiant and the witness and both of you as the couple sign it, and then mail it back to the respective county that you filed for the marriage license in. Getting the marriage license doesn't actually mean that you're legally married. It just means you have license to get married. So it's that signature of the four of you, or even five. Sometimes you can supply a second witness. So witness, officiant, and the couple signatures during the date of marriage, and then mailing that back within 90 days. When you go to pick up your marriage license at one of the courthouses, whether it's you applied online and then picked it up within 15 days or you did a walk-in, just make sure that that's when you prepay for your marriage certificate copies, because in LA, they do not automatically send it to you. I believe there's some states where that already gets included in the actual public marriage license fee, but in LA, you do have to request for it and pay $15 per copy. And I got two just to have for safekeeping. It's better just to get it all one time than have to like go in and like, you know, apply for something later on. It's just easier to do it all at once, prepay. That way you can also avoid having to go through the trouble of getting documents notarized at the bank or something later when you realize, maybe I really do need a copy of my marriage certificate. If you've been following my videos, you know that my husband is international, so he had to supply his form of identification, which a passport in this instance sufficed. And he has different alphabets or letters on his passport, but as long as you have Latin characters, which indicate like passport number, name, and things like that, so that the people that are processing know what the corresponding words or alphabets or characters are, then that doesn't require translation. Otherwise, you will have to get a document translated, and that way it will actually serve as legitimate proof for identification. And then for people, US citizens, it would be an unexpired driver's license or passport. Typically, if you are to get something translated, it's like $40 to translate a document, but always, if you are able to see Latin characters on, say, that like foreign passport or ID, then that should suffice and that will save you $40. A few do nots to avoid, especially if you're eloping or getting your friend to officiate the ceremony and whatnot. When you're filling out the marriage license, just make sure there's no stains, there's no crossouts, and there's no like ink bleeds and you write within the lines, because all of that could get rejected, and then you'll have to refile if they see any of that when they're trying to actually record your license and make it a marriage certificate. But if you're using a minister, say for example, or some kind of church leader who does this all the time, then you should be in good hands. They should know what they're doing. But in any case, just do like a once over audit on that actual marriage license before you send it back, just because we don't want to have the trouble or the delays of you getting a return license and then you having to like re-sign and, you know, also pay the fees to like reapply. Once you send your signed marriage license back within 90 days of the actual picking up of it and you have your ceremony and everything, it'll take about, they say on average, 4 to 6 weeks for the marriage certificate to come back to you. Typically it's a little faster, I would say about 3 weeks in Southern California. Vital things to consider: the name change. When you are actually filling out that marriage license form, you'll want to go into the actual pickup of your marriage license knowing whether you're going to change your name or not. You cannot change your first name, but you can change your middle and you can change your last name. If either of you are going to change your name or maybe hyphen or do something like that, or you can say scoot your maiden name into the middle name of your full legal name, but that will serve as the name change, which you'll then later on go to Social Security and the DMV, etc., etc. But just make sure you have an idea and you've made up your mind prior to the marriage license filing of whether you're going to change your name or not. And then the other thing would be to provide proof of divorce if either of you were previously married. Those would be the crucial things, because if you haven't actually provided proof of an absolved previous marriage, then that'll make you ineligible to get married again unless you provide proof that the marriage has now ended and is legally documented. So those are the quick tips to getting married in Southern California. If you're watching this video, you're probably engaged or about to get married, so congratulations once again. And if you would like to keep following my immigration journey, I'm trying to bring my husband over to the United States so that we can live together. And you can do it by just visiting my channel and seeing all our other corresponding videos. If you like it, please like and subscribe and comment. That way we're able to filter out information and reach people that might be in need of information like this as they go through their own respective immigration journeys. Thanks so much for watching.